It's not fair, I shouted. Actually, that's exactly what it is. You're not going to the fair on a school night, Taylor. The school year had just started, and unfortunately it was the same week the annual fair was in town. Great timing, right? The fair was only in town for a week, and a group of my friends were planning on going that night. The fair was open until midnight, so I did my best to act as normal as possible to not raise suspicion about sneaking out later. After dinner, I got into bed and waited for my parents to fall asleep. They both worked early in the morning, so they typically went to bed early. Once they were asleep, I snuck out of my bedroom window and met my friends that parked down the street. Jason rolled the window down as I approached. "Ready for some fair food?" he shouted. "Shh! Are you trying to wake up the whole neighborhood?" Emily whispered loudly. "Thanks again for the ride." As we drove to the fair, I could see the Ferris wheel lights illuminate the night sky. We parked, and Jason immediately rushed to the first food stand he could find. "Smell that? Fair food. It's what it's all about," Jason said. Emily and I laughed while Jason ordered more food than what he could carry. We got into line at the ticket booth and began deciding on what we were going to ride first. 10 tickets, please," I said to the attendant at the ticket booth. He wore a dirty old suit and gave a creepy smile as he counted out 10 tickets. $10, he said while leaning uncomfortably close. "And don't lose your tickets. No refunds, no returns." I handed him the money and he slowly took hold of the bill, retaining his creepy smile. "What was that about?" I asked Emily. "What was what about?" she replied. "The creepy ticket booth guy." "Oh, everyone working here is like that. Look where we are," Jason added. "Come on, let's get in line for the Ferris wheel," Emily shouted excitingly. We turned around towards the Ferris wheel when I bumped into someone. "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you." I stopped as I looked up and was startled by a clown. He stared at me for a moment before stretching his arm outward and bowing forward. He remained this way until we walked around him and towards the Ferris wheel. The lines were short this late at night, so it didn't take long for us to get on the ride. We sat down, and the operator started the ride. "So, who wants to get an elephant ear after this?" Jason asked. "How are you still hungry?" Emily replied. We ascended higher and could see the whole fair from up there. We stopped at the top and I looked downward towards the ride operator. The man who was previously running the Ferris wheel was replaced by the clown I had accidentally run into prior to getting on the ride. Guys? Guys? I repeated. Jason and Emily both looked at me. "The clown! He's running the ride!" They both looked down towards the operator station. "I know the people working here are a little strange, but clowns is kind of rude, Taylor," Emily joked. I looked back down at the clown, and he was gone. The original operator was standing at the station again. "No, the clown from earlier, he was just there." We got off the Ferris wheel, and I followed Jason as he got in line for the elephant ear he wouldn't stop talking about. Emily and I got onto a ride while Jason waited for his food. The fair was a lot bigger this year. They must have brought in a traveling carnival group or something, which added a lot more entertainment than years past. We began walking around, playing games, and got into a couple more rides. As the night went on, I had a constant feeling that we were being watched. I didn't think much of it at the time. I just thought I was a little on edge because I was afraid my parents would find out I snuck out. We had about an hour left until closing time and only had 4 tickets between the 3 of us. Jason had 2, while Emily and I just had 1 each. "Hey, let's go through the fun house before we leave," Jason suggested. "Jason, I hate those things," Emily complained. "Oh, come on, Emily. They don't call it fun house for nothing. We'll go home as soon as we get out," I tried to convince her. We made our way to the fun house and approached the attendant. "Sorry, 1 second," I said while I reached in my pocket trying to find my ticket. Here, take my extra one. It's our last stop of the night anyway, Jason said. I thanked him and we walked up to the steps. The entrance was in the shape of a clown's open mouth, with two long arms at its side pointing in different directions. Jason went in first, followed by Emily, and then me. Before walking in, I looked back to see the attendant was replaced with the clown from earlier. Again. He stretched out his arm, bowing. My eyes widened when he glanced up at me and had an unnatural smile. His red hair slicked out, and his face and head were painted white, while his nose was slightly enlarged and painted a bloody red. The mouth-shaped entrance creaked closed. "Guys, wait!" I shouted ahead. I walked through the spinning tunnel. It got darker as I moved forward. "Emily? Jason? Where are you?"
Come one, come all. All are invited, but all may not leave.
Silence struck the room, and I momentarily stood in darkness. Lights on both sides of the floor lit up, leading to a maze. The walls went up to the ceiling and branched off in many directions. I ran my hand against the right side of the wall and began following it. I ended up at a red door that I opened up. It was dark, so I slowly stepped inside. Upon taking my first step, the floor was angled at a slope that caused me to slip, and I hit the right side of my face. I quickly rolled downward to the left, falling onto the left wall at an angled floor. A black light filled the room, showing colorful arrows leading back up to the red door. I got up and climbed out of the room, making a note to be more careful where I'm going. I continued running my hand along the maze wall. I heard the intercom starting up again.
Oh, what's your name, dear? Emily? Emily. Have you ever considered joining the carnival, Emily?
I heard Emily crying over the intercom. "Emily! Jason! Where are you?" I shouted.
The real question is, where are you?
I continued running my hand along the wall of the maze when a wall panel pushed open. I pushed the panel harder and it revealed a hidden room. I stepped inside and looked around. It was almost like a museum or trophy room of sorts. There were large glass display cases all over the wall. Inside the cases, I saw what looked like wax figures of clowns. Some had wide grin smiles painted on, some with exaggerated frowns, and others with a look of surprise. The bottom of each of the cases had initials engraved. The opposite wall hung large portraits and old black and white photos of performers with a large tent in the background. I walked further, and there were display cases in the middle of the room. I saw a case with a jester's cap, a cone hat, and various wigs. I looked ahead when I heard rattling noises from one of the cases. Inside was a closed wooden box, shaking in the display. Next to it was a boot, with the top of the boot tied up like it was trapping something inside. What is this place? I thought.
There you are.
The clown's voice echoed over the speaker. The lights cut off, making the room impossible to see anything. I turned on my phone's light and tried to find my way back the way I came. I then heard a creaking noise. I shined my light around, trying to find the source of the noise. I noticed the glass displays containing the wax clowns were empty. I turned my light towards the open panel on the wall when it slammed shut. I quickly turned around and saw the sad clown running towards me. I stumbled my way through the dark room and tripped, accidentally knocking over one of the glass displays. Glass shattered all over the ground. I then heard the shaking wooden box slide across the floor, along with my phone. I panicked as I heard laughter in every direction. I knelt down and reached for my phone. I saw a large, dirty red shoe stepping down on it, preventing me from picking it up. I was frozen in fear as the figure knelt down in front of me, revealing his terrifying, exaggerated grin. I felt something strike my head. I was in and out of consciousness while a large clown dragged me away by the leg. I woke up and flinched as I saw a clown with blue hair sitting in front of me. When I looked again, I noticed a mirror. The blue-haired clown was me. My mouth was taped shut and my face was painted white with a big red smile to hide the tape. I was also handcuffed to conceal a chain around my waist that prevented me from lifting my hands high enough to remove the tape. I heard a voice I recognized in the distance.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final show of the night. Wait, it appears we're one clown short of a circus.
The large clown who dragged me away earlier appeared again and pushed me out through a red curtain, leading me to a stage. The crowd cheered as the ringmaster walked towards me. I recognized him as the first clown that has been stalking me all night. He gave me the same menacing grin that he displayed just before trapping me in the fun house earlier. He then spoke to me in a quiet tone. Now that you've met my friends, let's say hello to yours. In front of the stage was a large cage ring. The ringmaster clown pushed me into the cage. I saw two figures in the cage already dressed like me, except one had a purple wig and the other green. I knew it must be Emily and Jason. Like me, I could see their mouths taped with makeup concealing it. Jason had a surprised look painted on, and Emily with a terrified look. The cage's gate creaked shut behind me and locked by the ringmaster clown. The house lights went dark. Spotlights shined around the tent and rested pointing at the cage we were locked in. We then heard a loud roar of a lion. Jason and Emily both looked at me, our backs against the cage. Presented by the Elwyn Morgan Thatch Company. Come one, come all. All are welcome, but not all may leave. Our final act, the Lion's Den. Or in this case, the Lion's Dinner. The lion ran towards us, but was stopped by a chain around its neck. Oh no, where are my keys? The ringmaster clown joked while holding up a large key ring with 100 keys on it. The lion began biting the chain, trying to escape his bonds. I noticed a set of keys around his neck as it continued chewing on its chain. I looked over to Jason, who also saw the keys, shaking his head no as I began sneaking around the lion. I knew if I could get close enough, I could lift my hands just high enough to grab the keys. Just hold on, you three. I'll find that key eventually, the ringmaster clown mocked. I reached for the keys around the lion's neck, but he spotted me. Jason ran towards the lion, trying to get his attention. Emily was too frozen in fear to move. The lion quickly pounced towards Jason, scratching his leg. The keys fell from its neck into the dirt floor. I picked them up and ran to Emily while Jason rolled back away from the lion. I was able to unlock our cuffs, and we took the tape off our mouths. The crowds cheered as the ringmaster clown gave us a sinister stare. fog filled the stadium while multicolored lights illuminated the tent. I shouted for Emily and Jason, but I couldn't see through the fog. The crowd cheering and clapping made it impossible to hear them if they were shouting for me as well. The fog cleared just enough to see the ringmaster clown in front of us. The noise of the crowds faded into silence. What's going on? Where are we? Where did everyone go? I asked.
You spoiled our fun,
the ringmaster clown responded. Why have you been following me all night? What do you want with us?
Want? I want you three to get back to work.
What do you mean? Jason asked.
I wear many hats here at the Elwyn Morgan Thatch Company. Owner, operator, showman, collector, the clown responded.
Collector? Emily asked in a shaky voice.
I can't do it all on my own. Remember, all are welcome, but not all may leave. You're already dressed for the part. You all will make excellent additions to my clown collection.
You can't keep us here, Jason shouted.
Oh, I've been collecting for centuries. I have quite the museum that one of you vandalized. You know it wasn't easy obtaining that box you just set free, he responded while staring at me. But I'm not unreasonable, the clown said while the fog cleared ahead, revealing a creepy, worn-out carousel. There's your way out, provided you can pay.
We can pay. Please, just let us go. My parents can pay you however much you want. Just let us go, Jason pleaded. Yeah, mine too, Emily cried.
Money? Money won't help you here. You'll need a ticket to ride. That's your ticket out of here, the clown stated while giving his sinister smile.
Wait, I have a ticket. I have one left because I was in the food line and didn't use them all, Jason said, frantically digging through his pockets under his costume they put on us.
Do you?
The clown said, taking a step towards him.
As I recall, you gave away your last ticket,
the clown whispered to Jason, and then his eyes shifted over at me. I felt my last unused ticket in my pocket that I was searching for before we went into the fun house. I pulled the ticket out of my pocket. My hand shook while they all looked at me. I didn't know what to do. Here, Jason, it's yours, I said, handing him the ticket. Before he could take it, white-gloved hands grabbed him into the fog. Jason! Emily shouted. Another set of gloved hands pulled Emily into the fog.
Don't lose your tickets, folks, the clown said in a menacing voice.
Wait! You can't take them! It's not fair! I shouted. He took the ticket from me and ushered me to the carousel.
Enjoy the ride. No refunds, no returns. As for you two, welcome to the show, he shouted into the fog.
The carousel sprang to life, and the music rang through the speakers. I could feel tears in my eyes. I tried getting off the ride, but I couldn't move. The carousel spun faster and faster until the clown eventually became blurry. I woke up, screaming and gasping for breath as I arose from my bed. My mom rushed into my room asking if I was okay. The clown, I stuttered as I was at a loss for words. Clown? Are you having those nightmares again? Maybe, I responded. Well, it's time to get ready for school. You don't want to be late. I got up and stopped when I looked in the bathroom mirror. I got closer and turned my head. Then I saw it. On the side of my cheek was a smudge of white face paint.